I gotta be honest with you guys. I have not been what you would say is 100% on plan lately. Now, this isn't entirely outside of my control. In fact, it's entirely inside of my control. So, I take that back. It's not entirely outside of my control. Or what? I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying. I had to take 4 days off of the gym because I got sick over Christmas weekend. I took the time to take it a little bit easy, to let my body relax. Didn't go to the gym, didn't do any cardio. Ate some of my meals, but I also enjoyed some good holiday food. And on Friday, I ended up weighing in at an all-time body weight high for the morning, which was about just under 217, which feels good and bad. It's always good to hit a PR of some kind, you know. It's cool seeing a number you've never seen on the scale before. Now, there's been some mighty meals that I've pushed the scale up to about 220. But never have I woken up above 212, I think. So, that was kind of cool to see. Not gonna lie, kind of pushing the limits of the bulk at this point a little bit. And I just need to get back on track and clean things up on my end. Now, don't get me wrong. The pumps in the gym have been fantastic. Looking at them has been sort of underwhelming. It's kind of masked under a layer of water and adipose tissue, which here's something I see a lot, especially on social media. I apologize for sniffling. I'm still getting over my sickness. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So we're grinding. But anyway, a common pitfall I see when it comes to bulking for the social medias is that a lot of guys are just too scared to put on any body fat at all. And if that's you, you're leaving gains on the table, man, because you're gonna have to get to an uncomfortable state, not to the point where you're so big that you can't even tell that you go to the gym anymore. We definitely want to avoid that situation. But some of your lines have to disappear a little bit. And if you're not willing to go to that place just because you want to maintain this look on social media, you want to appear a certain way to your followers or your friends, you're not really going to get that big. And if you're not trying to get huge, fine. But if you are, you're going to have to eat more food, because in order to gain muscle, that energy has to come from somewhere. And when you're really lean, your body doesn't really have all of the tools necessary to build muscle. If you're lean, your body's going to be using all of that fuel to maintain muscle and fight against losing it rather than building it. And almost think of it in a way of like, it's kind of like when your body fat levels get that high, your body fat's almost like a pump cover in and of itself. So you're kind of hiding your physique from everyone. So if you think about a pump cover, like you're hiding your pump from either yourself or from other people in the gym, and you take it off and it's like this grand reveal, like, holy shit, that guy's build is crazy. That's kind of like what a bulk is supposed to be. Like, you kind of see someone peak bulk, you're like, damn, that guy's pretty stacked. Like, I bet it'd be crazy if that dude cut down. And then he cuts down, it's even crazier than you thought. And that's because he wasn't afraid to go to the little higher percentages of body fat. But I'm just a bro, so that's just how I see it. I've always had an easier time putting on weight than taking off weight. But there is a limit. And I think I'm reaching it where, you know, you kind of like, okay, we're going to stick with the bulk, but we're going to clean things up a little bit. Maybe have a few less. My weakness is sweets, man. Just like chocolate, especially. But I don't want to get too much into that. Anyway, today's topic, or lift, is legs. And I know I said this in the last video that I wasn't a huge fan of, like, on leg days, pumping up my legs before I do like a squat or something. But something inside of me is telling me to start with the Cybex leg press and just engorge my quadriceps with blood, and then go into some kind of squat, whether that be a barbell squat, or last week I did Smith squats, but I did heels elevated, which I don't really do very often. But last week when I did it, it felt amazing. And I did it kind of towards the end of my lift. And actually, last quad day was the day I decided I was going to take 4 days off of the gym. I went to the gym. I had been mentally feeling fatigued, and just, I could push myself physically, but mentally, I just could not, like, lift. And sometimes you're going to hit that wall, and that's you got to listen to your body at that point to take a break. And I was just moving some weight. Everything felt like bricks, man. And I cut the workout early. I still did the best that I could. I gave 100% for that day. But compared to the rest of my leg days, nowhere near what I'm capable of doing, which is fine. So I wasn't beating myself up leaving the gym, but I did do heel elevated Smith squats. Bit of a tongue twister there. And they felt really good. So, I don't know. After the Cybex leg press, we'll see how I'm feeling, and we'll just go from there. But I always recommend this. We're just doing quads today with some calves. And I always start quad days with some kind of hamstring curl, getting a little bit of a hamstring pump before I start moving my knees. It just feels good. I still use knee sleeves, but if you train your quads and hamstrings separately, I definitely think you should be warming up your hamstrings before you hit quads, just to get some blood in there. But at the end of the day, you do you. But with that being said, I will see you guys at the first set of the leg press. All right, jumping into today's quad workout. Just like I said in the car, we're starting off with the Cybex leg press. Apologies for my verbal blunder. Anyways, back on track. Starting with the Cybex leg press actually felt really good. Just due to the way the machine moves, I think it's a good starter for a quad workout. It's a nice movement pattern. It kind of moves in like an arc, whereas a regular leg press moves kind of in like a straight line. I don't really know if that you can understand what I'm saying. If you've used the Cybex, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you see one, you got to try it. It's a fantastic machine. But this set here, we did like 20 reps, and something I'm focusing on is bringing my knees all the way to my chest. I've noticed my range of motion on leg press movements is kind of short. I think that's because I like to load a lot of weight on the machine, which can kind of make you feel like when you're bringing the weight down, you feel like your legs have moved a lot farther than they really have, just because there's so much load on them. And when you really focus on, okay, I'm going to make sure that my knees come all the way down, and like they're going to move until they cannot move, it really makes you realize that there's so much more range that you have to work with. And I'm hoping that over time, this is going to add some of that sweep on the side of my quads that I feel like I'm lacking. And that's the part of my quad I'm trying to develop the most, which is, I can't think of the name right now, but it's the part of your quad on the side, like when you look at it from the front, and it's just like your quads just stick out past your waist, and it just looks awesome. So trying to build that, hoping that these will definitely help me in that area. But these were brutal. I think slowing my reps down too is another big thing I need to work on as well. This was my first 2 working sets, and I'm already sweating through my shirt. So that's an indicator right there, just what these were feeling like. And 5 plates per side for me really isn't that much. But when you're focusing on slowing the movement down and bringing your knees as close to your chest as you can, they start to burn very fast. And the set becomes a mental exercise very quickly. I think about by the 10th rep or so, I just wanted to stop moving. But when you really lock in and you tell yourself that you're going to go until you can't go anymore, that's when you get the most out of your sets, and that's what we need to do to grow. So from here, we're just going to be locking in, making sure we're feeling the burn, making sure we want to cry, and all of that good stuff. So finishing off the Cybex with a drop set, really feeling the pain, and I think at the end of this set, I just lay there for a little bit because I felt absolutely horrible. You know, you just lay back, look up, ask yourself why you're here, why you do this to yourself, and then convince yourself to stand back up and go and do more damage to your body. So that's what we like to do, and that's what we're going to do here. And moving on to some barbell squats with some 405 action going down. Now this is going to be the last set you see. Unfortunately, this workout did not go the way I wanted it to, but we're still going to upload it, still going to show the days that aren't exactly how we want them to be. Sometimes not every workout is going to go down the way you expected. What matters is that we gave it our all, and that we're not just giving up and quitting and going home. So I'll explain that later in the video. But as you can see, the weight is not moving very fast. So we're just going to rack it here, and then we're going to go check out the pump in the posing room. All right, so legs are done. You're probably wondering, why was that such a short lift? And the answer is, after that set of squats, I got the worst nausea I think I've had in a few years. And, you know, sometimes 3 sets is all it takes. I definitely cooled off a little bit and did some leg extensions, but my legs are done, dude. And it really goes to show that when you go all out on your top sets, you don't have to be in here for 2 hours, man. Just killing yourself, trying to get a good workout. We're just trying to stimulate the muscle. We're not trying to destroy it. I could easily go out there and do more sets, but they wouldn't be maximal effort. And at that point, what's the point, really? So we exerted maximal effort in those 3 top sets that we did. And you didn't see, but in the sets leading up to those leg press sets, I was doing feeder sets, same thing with the squats. So we got extra volume on top of that. And anyway, I got a good pump going on under here, so nothing left to do but to just check it out. So, as you can see, not really a whole lot of lines going on, but that's typical of leg day. And the bulk has definitely done a good job of putting some mass on these bad boys. But they're not much to look at right now. with the excess water and body fat, but give me a couple months and they'll be looking pretty freaky. But with that being said, I still got to go do calves and get some of those post-workout carbs in me. So I'll see you guys in the car. Okay, so a little bit shorter of a lift than normal, but that's okay. Not every lift is going to look the same. Today, I think the issue was, so coming back from being sick might have been a factor. Oh, hold on. There we go. So, apologies. Coming back from being sick might have been a factor. Just taking time off and then just reacclimating myself to a more intense day, which would be a quad day. Those first 2 sets of leg press were, honestly, I haven't felt a pump like that in my legs in a long time. And I can just say, maybe next time, I'm not going to try to hit a set of 405 immediately after. I actually, to fill you guys in, I went into the locker room and just like laid down for 10 minutes. I could not stand. My lower back was pumped insanely. I was profusely sweating. Definitely a feeling that you're just like, okay, I'm glad that I got here. Like, you're proud that you just annihilated yourself, but would not have been productive to really push myself after that. I did do a few sets of leg extensions just to kind of get a little bit more blood in there, just so I could feel like I got an adequate amount of work done. But I think for the most part, the lift was solid. I would just say next time we're going to try to get a little bit more volume in there, do a little bit more work, but I'm not upset. When I was doing the sets of leg extensions though, my legs were shaking like bad, and I was only doing a plate on each leg. It was a single leg extension. So I know I did some damage on my quads, which I'm happy about for sure. But I think the important thing is not to really get too mentally caught up in a lift that isn't as good as other ones. Because that's definitely not my best lift. There's definitely been workouts where I've done a lot more reps, a lot more weight, a lot more sets, and I didn't get fatigued for whatever reason. But some days you just don't have it in you, and you just got to give what you can. But sometimes you just got to know when to go home. There's a difference between quitting and giving up. And maybe not quitting, but knowing when it's appropriate to go home versus when you should push yourself. And I think if your mentality is to push yourself all the time, I'm sorry, this is bad. But I think if you're trying to push yourself all the time and you just find yourself digging yourself into a hole and you're constantly getting injured, you might need to reassess your approach to training, because if you're digging yourself into a hole and you're not really going to improve, what's the point of training? And there's people that I see, not to call anyone out in particular, but every gym I think has the 3-hour warrior, where you just see them annihilating themselves for 3 hours every single session, and they just kind of stay the same year to year. And you know, not to tear those people down, because who knows what they're training for, but part of me wants to speculate that somebody training that long may be trying to get bigger, and that's just not the approach to take. I I think in order to get big, you definitely need to concentrate more on I would say, a direct assault on the muscle. So you're going in hard and you're going to do it fast. And you're not trying to rush through it, but you're not trying to stay there forever. Because we can only exert maximal energy for a certain period of time. And it's not very long. And I feel like my pumps typically start to diminish after about 45 to 60 minutes. And once the pump is fully maxed, it might be fun to do a couple more sets just to squeeze out any last potential, the last 1 to 5% you have left in you. But anything beyond that, and I think you're just digging yourself into a hole. So nothing crazy, not too worried about it. Definitely going to go a lot harder next time on legs, and definitely going to prepare a lot better. Definitely going to try to space my meals out better so I'm not working through a bloated stomach. Definitely not fun on leg day, especially when you got to drink intra-workout carbs as well. Does not help with the bloating situation whatsoever. So definitely takeaways from tonight's workout, but it is a workout in the books nonetheless. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you when I see you.